5% and 8%.
Yes.
But I think the rate should be constant
No,
when
you
you are
see what you are saying,
Yeah,
these two rates which are being applied, one is 5% for NPV and also 8% for NPV.
yeah,
So in these two cases, you see you are using the same rate for project X and Y at
yeah,
5%. You will compare both project at 5%, both X and Y.
yeah,
Compare again the same project at 8%, X and Y.
yeah,
You see, in this case, NPV will give you conflicting answers in terms of acceptance.
yeah,
It's okay now. You are getting what I'm saying?
yeah. I'm getting it.
But it should be consistent. Even if you increase the rate, then you could find because the discounting factor is the same for both project, then the
Yeah,
acceptance criteria should be the same.
yeah.
But now here you'll find there is conflict. But those cases are very minimal.
Okay.
It's clear. Eh?
Yeah,
So that explains how NPV is an absolute measure, while IRR is a relative
relative.
measure. So it will be much more preferred.
So in this case,
Mhm.
in most cases, so IRR will be preferred to NPV.
It is preferred than NPV,
Okay, I think now it's clear.
but
So
both
the
methods are used.
so the only difference between NPV and IRR is basically one being relative and the other one absolute.
Yes.
So for
You
example,
see,
I think
if we apply
yeah,
the same 5% and 8% for X
yes,
and Y
yes,
using the IRR method,
yes,
you will just find them being consistent. The project with the highest IRR remains, whether you change the rate or not.
okay. Then there is a question, I think I saw it some time back.
Yes.
It was asking now the exact thing that we've just discussed, the difference between what brings the difference between IRR and NPV.
Mm-hmm.
So in such a case, is it only one
It's not one
difference?
factor.
Yeah.
There are other factors which we are now going to discuss.
Okay.
For example, you can see here we are talking of the project size and life.
Yeah.
So this is one of the reasons. The project size and the life of the projects can make those two methods to give you conflicting acceptance criteria. Bill,
Yes. Yes.
you can hear me, eh?
I can hear you well.
So this is one of the factors. The size of the project or the
Yes.
life, the life of the project can bring that conflict between NPV and IRR.
Yes.
The other thing is what we had discussed in terms of the different cash flow. You see, the other one was 5,000 constant
Yeah.
throughout,
Yes.
but the other one was year 100, year 2, year 3, like that.
So for example, let me just take you back kidogo. Under project size and life,
Yes.
what usually brings the difference between NPV and IRR?
So, for example, if you have a project of 9 years
Yes.
with maybe investment of maybe 90,000,
Yes.
and you have another small project of 3 years, which requires maybe like initial investment of 3,000.
Yes.
So when you do the evaluation here, based on the project size, you can see this is big. project
Yeah.
with a big life of 9 years.
Yeah.
This is a small one, and of course, with a small project, of course, with a small lifespan compared to
Yeah.
the earlier project.
Yeah.
So if you use the NPV and the IRR, you might find there are differences.
Okay.
You are getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might find IRR, it's okay, but you might find because of these large and small,
Yeah.
you might find that NPV is giving you conflicting answers. Some are saying accept two, IRR is saying accept one because of the project size and life.
Sure.
The other one is what I had explained before, like where we have cash flow of 500, 500, 500. The other one has 100, 200, 300, but they have the same life and they have the same size, both requiring 2.5.
Yeah.
Then you find there is conflict. So those are the two main reasons why those methods have can bring conflict in terms of the acceptance criteria.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Then the other thing, Bill,
Yes.
if you recall, we mentioned something to do with maximization
Yes.
of the wealth
Of the shareholders.
of the shareholders, whereby we said, remember this capital budgeting is one of the primary goals of finance managers. And we said, if you accept projects which have positive NPV
Yes.
or projects which have the internal rate of return greater than the required rate of return, or
Yes.
project with PI greater than 1,
Yes.
then you are improving the welfare of the shareholders, or you are maximizing the wealth of the shareholders.
Yeah.
But if you are doing the converse, that is investing in projects with negative NPV, project where the IRR is greater than the internal rate of return, and
Yes.
project with PI less than 1, then you'll
Yes.
find that these wealth of the shareholders will be minimal.
Sure.
And this value is reflected, it is reflected in the price of the share. So all what is contained here, it is trying to show the expected relationship among the investment decisions and how it influences the share price and hence the value of the firm.
Yes.
So this is one of the method, although we will discuss it later when we'll be discussing valuation method. What we call the dividend discount model is one of the method that is applied in valuation.
Yes.
discounting factor that you're using for NPV, you can see it can give you different acceptance criteria.